Fabric bowls are really easy to make. What you're going to need is 2 pieces of fabric. I like contrasting but the same kind of colour. And I put them together with fusible interfacing, so it's like a glue that seals the both of them together. If you don't have the glue, then you can use a spray adhesive, but make sure that it's one that's suitable for fabric, because you're going to need to sew through it and you don't want to go and drip your sewing machine. So what I've done is made a square of 9 inches. It could be any size of square, but that's the kind of size that I've chosen. And I've cut I'm going to cut 4 V-shapes into it, but how I've done that is to measure from the centre 2.5 inches in at all 4 points, and then either side of my 2.5 inches I'm going to put a little mark of 1/2 inch. You won't see the pen mark, so don't worry about that, and then just join the 2 up into a V. So every one of my little V-shaped cuts are exactly the same size. Like so. And then cut all 4 of those out. You'll need to cut in a very straight line, because you're going to join these 2 sections together in just a second. So down to the point of the V. Important that they're all the same depth, so try and be as accurate as you can. Then you need your sewing machine on a zigzag stitch. I've got around about 1/4 inch width, but you need the stitches very close together, almost like a buttonhole stitch. And start to sew using your satin stitch foot, so that's got the little shape in the middle of it as a guideline, and just line up the point of the cut that you've made. Don't sew right onto the end of the point, go back into the fabric a little bit, and then when you start to sew, you're going to draw these 2 sides together. It'll take a while because the stitches are so close together, but just pull those together. This is why it's important that your lines are straight, and you'll start to see the bowl take shape. I wouldn't try a bowl that's too deep, because it's going to be a little bit fiddly to actually get the shape of the bowl coming through. Lift that up, snip off your threads as you go, and already from the first line you're starting to see the bowl taking shape. So I'll just do 1 more of those, but of course you finish all 4 of them. So start just off the point, off we go, and then gradually draw the 2 sides in to meet in the centre. And this is where I'm saying it doesn't really matter about your pen mark, because your stitches are wide enough to cover over the line that you've drawn. Through, watch your fingers. So do that on all 4 sides, and then just to finish off, I've done the same zigzag stitch around the top of the bowl. Now if you've got embroidery stitches, a scalloped edge looks quite nice, but a tip is to start at the centre and work out, because it's difficult to start right on that corner and then work back in again. You'll find that gets crumpled underneath your sewing machine foot. And I'm going to try and guide that, guide the zigzag stitch so that it slightly goes over the end of the fabric, only very slightly, because I don't want loose stitches. So let's see if I can line that up. Only by I think the technical term is a tadge. Tiny little bit going over, and then it should bind the edge of the bowl and leave it looking neat. If it doesn't work, it's fine, and to be honest I don't mind if it looks as though it's fraying a little bit. It gives it a shabby chic kind of look. So up to the end and snip off the excess thread, and hopefully, see, that's what happens when you can go over the edge. It actually takes the stitch right round the top and gives it a more professional finish. And then finally I'm going to again start from the centre and work out and try and catch over the edge with my zigzag stitch. Now if you don't want to use so much thread, because it does take a lot of thread, you could use your pinking shears and cut around the edge. Just make sure that your fusible glue on the inside is really stuck right up to the edge of your fabric, because you don't want the 2 layers peeling apart. And again, I'm not pushing the fabric through, I'm just guiding it up to the end. Snip off the excess threads. Decide which way your bowl looks better. Do I want that pattern on the inside, or do I want the flowers on the inside? Or because it's reversible, you can change your mind as often as you like.